Good afternoon. This is Julie. It's Monday, April 16th. It's 3:02 p.m. Markets are just wrapping up. Today we had retail sales give a positive, better than expected reading of 0.6% for the month over month for March. Core retail sales came in line, and so this is very positive for the economy. The component that excluded gas and autos was just one tick um, worse than expected, 0.1%, but it met last month's reading. But I think the overall increase, better than expected number, is what we have. Now, this is probably going to be it for this week's data. We have a very low data week. We have some Federal Reserve people talking and in anticipation of their meeting, and then we have tonight, the most important data for the week is China's GDP and industrial production coming out. So be sure and watch this after our market closes and see what these numbers come in line, because this can really impact our markets also. Also, we have the Japanese Prime Minister meeting here with the president, going over, I'm sure, what they'll be discussing insofar as China, United States economic growth opportunities, as well as currency devaluations and whatnot. There was a tweet that came out today regarding the president's concern over various countries that are devaluating their currencies. But as far as the economic numbers, there's a lot to work on overnight with the um, Bank of England and Euro, also Bank of Canada, but not so much anymore economic reports. In fact, every other country but the United States this week, basically for numbers this week. We just are in a slump of a week for data. Here is the NASDAQ, a 5-minute chart showing we had quite an up and down inside day inside yesterday's range. The value area is in between these yellow, that's your inside of the value area, and then outside the value area actually extends up just a little bit further. So this really is like the central part where it's expected to be rotational up and down, and that's clearly what we got. We got out of the area, didn't quite get to the high, came back in to the Fibonacci area, and now as the market's closing, the market is just, fluctuating at the end of the period. Let's take a look at the high-low 1, and again, what you want to do is put this on a 30 or 40 tick bar. This would be a 40 tick, and this would allow you to capture some of these moves once you get a directional bias set, to be able to come in and get a foothold with a stop that would actually hold, that you can then move up until you get to a place where you've gotten your profit target, or get to a profit target, or intraday level like a R1 or a VWAP. So just an up and down day, sort of flat, not much really to talk about today. And I would expect more of the same this week. Gold had a little bit of a pop today. We were expecting that. Let's take a look at the market analyzer. It had exhibited some trending. characteristics, but then really came off at the end of the day, came back to its mean. So really the upside surprise was the equity indexes closing up on that good retail sales data, and then crude coming off after the macro event with Syria ended. So it pulled back a little bit off of that level. So I would expect some volatility this week with any news coming out of Washington or other macro economic news coming from um, the FOMC in anticipation of these Fed chairmen speaking before their blackout going into their meeting in a couple of weeks. All right, so that's about all I have for you. Again, it was just once you get a directional bias, there's many ways to trade it. And what I like to do are trade my triggers, and that way you can split your risk, come in with a very defined trade plan, and just shoot for these targets. That's one very, very good way to do it. Thank you so much. I hope y'all had a good trading day. Keep it light this week, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care.